So basically, the courts in the United Kingdom basically failed to include in the proceedings that there was domestic violence, that these fathers were extremely violent, that from Abdullah's house in Brixton I had to be escorted out because I was being held unlawfully and not able to leave, and with Reginald Alamene, that he did physically beat me up during the pregnancy, and the entire African and Jewish community did lie about this, although there are police records at Gospel Oak, and he had to be removed from my house by police after attacking me with a knife. All of this was kept out of the proceedings, and instead of telling the truth about domestic violence, what they did do is they covered it up by saying that I was crazy and that I was racist and that I was anti-Semitic, when in fact I was being violently attacked by these men, and the courts were not allowed to have this information. Eventually I did regain custody of my children, but I did lose my home. I owned a home at 255 West End Lane, West Hampstead. For over 10 years I had a mortgage. My children were in the best possible schools that money could buy. They were not in state regulated schools. They were in private education, and I was approached by Camden Social Services, which is a very left-wing, radical Jewish borough, with all sorts of claims and allegations of inability to care for my children's religious needs. Although they are my children and not the children of this community failed to actually recognize it. It was not their eggs, it was not their womb, so to speak, and these women actually took over the control of my reproduction, my ability to parent, my ability to care for my children, and my ability to make decisions concerning my children. When I attempted to make a human rights claim in Toronto, all they screamed at me is, "Oh, you're racist, you're racist, you're racist, you're this, you're that." And none of the claims were actually taken very, very seriously, although I had tons of evidence that Camden Social Services in the United Kingdom were lying, and this community was lying as well. It was not a misunderstanding. When I came back to Canada, my daughter was, actually before I came back to Canada, I was held in detention, and there was a judge called Judge Hortzwitz, another Jewish judge, who rewrote the facts of the case, which I guess is probably the most important part of this entire thing, is that the Judge Hortzwitz rewrote the facts of the case, and he wrote that there was child abuse. There was actually no child abuse. My daughter came to the prison to visit me. It was all recorded on camera. There was never any incidents. There were never any issues there. I made it very, very clear that I didn't want my daughter raised by the people who brought her to the prison to see me. Obviously my views were not respected. I was then removed back to my country, said that I was illegal, although I'm married to Nectarios Fotopoulos and part of the EEC. Clearly not illegal, but again, the community was lying, and when they're lying, there's very little you can do if you don't have an objective person to stand by you. Basically, it's just another OJ case where, you know, everyone pretends not to see or hear anything, and I was referred to by the African and Jewish community as a whore, as a slut, as a prostitute, as they took my children, denied me the right to breastfeed my children, denied me the right to love my children, denied me the right to have a family. And when I was removed back to Canada, the minute I came back here, I was told by Judge Schultz to make myself available. I was told by the social worker, do what you have to do. I had no ID with me. I had no method, actually.